following podcast contains spoilers for the book chosen and may include spoilers for other books in the same series. The participants of this podcast have also been drinking a lot. The participants of this podcast are professionals and did not drive home until sober. Please, drink responsibly.
You're gonna puke. Read! Drink! Black! Ouch! I'm trying to read. What's so funny?
Hey, welcome to Black Out, the podcast where we don't say grace beforehand, Tom.
No.
What are you doing?
Rufio.
This is the podcast where we read a book,
Yes.
drink too much, and then try to talk about it afterwards.
Yes.
And on today's podcast, who do we got, boys?
Jacob.
Steven.
Tom.
And a real
not funny.
boy,
It's not funny.
Tristan Walsh.
I
Hey,
get it.
everybody.
Hi.
It's like Pinocchio and Say Anything put together. It's a
You
thing.
wrote it so big.
Hey, but today's... So the thing today was Jacob got to pick the stories, and Jacob went a little out of the ordinary.
Here's the box.
Oh, out of the gourd.
I got a
Out of the
timeshare
pumpkin.
out in the mountains outside of the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're there now.
Oh,
What's out there?
wow.
What's in the mountain?
What's here? What's
It's
here
like
in the
Aspen.
mountains?
It's Aspen? We're reading Aspen?
Like it's nice, but it's kind of expensive. and not
Jacob,
really
what did you
worth it.
pick?
What is it for real?
I
Yeah.
picked Grimm Fairy Tales.
There you
Now
go.
they're like
Oh,
fairy
fucking
tales.
God.
Yeah.
You need one thing, and he's just like sits there and talks about
like-
Aspen.
There's like a ton of Grimm
I
Fairy
picked
Tales.
like the popular ones that we know in modern day and were made into Disney movies and such.
Which in the last podcast you can check. We put a link to the ones that he picked specifically.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk over those. Hopefully you read along. If not, you're gonna hear some asinine responses to what we fucking read right now.
Yes.
So, but before we get into like the depths, into the meat
Elbow
of the
deep.
stories, into the wolf's stomach of the stories,
Oh.
boys,
This is warm.
what you drinking? Apparently,
I'm
you looked
gonna
at Jacob, and then
No,
Jacob
you're-
pointed at
you're
Tom.
starting.
No,
So
I'm going
Jacob's
last
drinking
because
Tom.
I brought
You're
the special.
special. That makes
Jacob brought a
sense.
thing.
That makes
So
sense.
I'll start.
That's true.
All right. What I drinking? So I currently have an Andy Gator beer from Abita. I've never tried it, but the bottle looks so
Ibiza?
cool.
It's
Spain?
like is
Abita.
that like a 40?
Dude,
That's
it's fucking
definitely a
big.
40.
It's
It's
a
gotta be
big.
a 40.
It is a Hell's Doppelbock.
It's probably not
Which
40. They
sounds-
don't sell 40s around here.
Yeah,
so.
it's a
32.
1 pint, 6 floral ounces.
This
It's
my
a point.
friend.
They
is
making
a point.
points?
A little smoke came out of the top.
I'm getting one.
Tom,
You're
you
half
tell.
already.
Tom, you explain what you're drinking as I chug this.
Okay, this is a Goose. It's a sour ale, which will make sense later. And it is the Marriage Parfait, the perfect marriage. Much the way 90% of fairy tales end.
Oh!
Wonderful marriages.
Wow.
It makes me mad sometimes.
Steven, what are you drinking? But before you say it, I really like this beer.
Hey.
Hey, there you go.
Sorry, I can't beat Tom's drink. It's just a plain old strawberry margarita.
Ooh.
Plain- Why did you choose a strawberry
You look so
margarita?
sad after you're like,
His
strawberry
was so good.
margarita.
His was so good.
I do like margaritas,
Here,
but not strawberry.
Here it's a strawberry margarita.
Yeah.
Oh,
Strawberry
margarita.
It is pretty
Because
good.
This is
Bored.
something you didn't know about, but
Star
we are just
Trek.
assholes, and Tom said it wrong once, and now it's official.
Yes.
They're margaritas.
Yes.
So,
Because you'll end up in the
Why strawberry?
margarita.
I chose strawberry because Little Red Riding Hood actually went off the path to pick strawberries, and I was just thinking, hey, she was probably going to make a strawberry margarita.
that's probably it.
Nailed it.
So
You're a 12-year-old girl walking through the woods. You better be making strawberry
wine
margaritas.
she had a
All
wine
right.
in her basket.
I brought for my normal drink Strongbow, but for my special
Yes,
drink,
Strongbow.
He brought us a special drink.
my special
Why
fizz
did you
drink,
choose Strongbow?
It's what was in the it's what was in the fridge.
Hey,
Oh.
fridge. They had those in
No,
modern
no, no,
times.
I got it. Apple cider because Snow White, poison apple. There's the connection. I
There
made
you
it.
are. You did it, Jake.
got
You're
it.
the
Nice.
best.
Nice one.
Everyone
Good
else,
save.
shit.
Good save.
All right, but
Tell us about this.
my
What's
special
under
drink-
this black hood?
It is the fairy tale
I
cocktail.
hope it's not a witch.
Oh,
What
why
is
is
it?
it bubbly?
It's vodka, chocolate syrup.
No, what's it called? I didn't hear.
It's called the fairy tale.
Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah, because we're reading fairy tales. So there you go.
It looks like
And
It's
got
definitely
sewage,
curdled.
like curdled
It's
sewage
definitely
shit.
chunky.
That's just fizz. No, that's crushed ice and
No, that's
strawberry
shit.
bits.
That's-
Did you use the
okay.
cheap vodka?
Let's just.
It's
I'm
curdled.
gonna drink
Shut
the
up
chunky
and drink
thing.
my
Give me
thing
the-
that
What
I
is it
made.
called? Well, why
The
this?
fairy tale.
It's called the fairy tale.
Where did you look it up?
The internet.
It smells like pure fudge.
She went
Shut
to
up
a
and
book in the
drink.
library. What do you
Cheers.
think?
Cheers, you
Cheers.
bitch.
Oh, god damn it, Tom,
party
on my
foul.
fucking tablet.
Fuck.
It smells like pure fudge.
Shut
To
up.
be honest with you.
Oh, it's so chocolatey, but there's strawberry undertones.
It's got red chunkies in it.
It's strawberry bits. It'd probably be better with like better
is blood-
vodka.
God, were you supposed to chug the whole thing?
No!
Oh my
I'm
god!
glad you did, though. I'm glad you did.
Jesus.
I don't think
I almost did, and then it hit me.
You
and I
guys
was
told me
like,
we were
oh,
doing
Why are you
shots.
guys like chugging it?
You guys
Because
told
I
me we were
wanted to
doing
be over. I
shots.
don't like it.
Oh my god.
Shots.
I would not. I wouldn't recommend that. Do not chug it.
Shots does stick
God.
with the theme.
I'll be honest.
Steven and I started to, and then like half of it got down my throat. I was like, oh
yeah,
fuck.
I know it's too,
That's
but
what
I
she
didn't want to be
said.
a pussy, and I was like, okay, well,
I'll be
these guys
honest.
are doing it,
I'll be honest
and
with
then
you
I
guys.
stopped, and you guys weren't doing it.
Oh yeah, I barely even took it.
Yeah, it calls for white chocolate syrup, but they don't sell that like in like brick and mortar stores.
Welcome to the Half-Ass Podcast.
Whew, I'm gonna have a sugar rush.
He almost spit it back into the cup.
Give me back my good beer.
Okay, is this
All right,
gonna
I'm a
take forever?
failure. Cool.
Abita.
Moving on. First topic.
Abita.
Go. Move over my failure.
All right, so let's start talking about the stories.
I'll drink it. It's good.
No.
Which one do you want to start with?
God, I shouldn't have chugged that.
Oh,
that was all over the pop filter.
oh, so bad.
Towel.
Also,
It was so bad.
just to preface,
Wipe yourself
you
off.
guys,
Thank you.
almost everybody used a different source. Like every single one
That's
of mine,
true.
I looked up the original. Like for the Grimm ones, it was the 1812. For the other stories,
Yep.
the earliest first version I could find. And then some people use more modern ones.
Oh,
Some
yeah,
people
yeah,
use
yeah.
some in
I
between.
use what was on iPhone.
So it'll be really interesting to see how they've evolved over time. so Tristan, where do you want to start? What story?
Oh, well, I'm gonna go in the stories in the way they're ordered. But let's take a break real quick so I can throw up.
Okay.
Because that was
No.
fucking awful.
Hey, I chugged mine instantly.
Hey,
I chugged mine instantly.
shush.
I'm actually.
Welcome to summary,
Hey.
which we're gonna do this a little different because normally we just kind of like run through all the sections, but we have so many stories because Jacob picked them.
Yep.
I feel like we should talk about the summary real quick and then kind of discuss it in
Let's do
order.
it.
Otherwise, we're gonna get confused.
Story by story.
What's
Yeah,
first story?
That sounds
Frog
fantastic.
Prince, numero uno.
Wait,
me
do you
rethink
mean
about
the
this
Frog
real quick.
King?
I had the Frog Prince.
I had the Frog Prince.
Oh, all right, begin.
All right. So the Frog Prince is Jacob. You want to take this because I don't remember.
All right, so
feeling.
there's this
There's
girl,
a frog.
There's a girl.
no,
Prince.
There's a girl. She
There's not a
dropped.
frog, there's a girl.
All right.
She
No,
has-
I got it now.
Frog's
I'm
later.
sorry. I'm
The
sorry.
frog
I
comes
lied.
later.
I'm a liar and I'm sorry.
All right, go.
Tom's
So
not even in this one because he read this in a
Okay,
different story.
this is the Frog Prince as I read it. There's a girl. She's kind of a bitch. She's annoying.
She's a
she
bitch.
drops a golden globe into the water and goes, "Well, fuck, everything's ruined."
Yes.
And the frog goes, "Yo,
Yep.
bro, I can get
Hey,
that."
it was
And
her favorite Golden Globe.
yeah, and then the frog comes out and he goes, "Bro, I can get you that if you let me sleep in your bed, eat your food, and just kind of like hang out for a while." And she's like, "I mean, frogs are stupid idiots, but definitely okay." So he gets her the
Sounds
thing.
about right.
Yeah, she gets it.
Yeah.
He gets her the thing, and then she's like, "Deuces," and
Yeah,
she bails
she just
out.
bails. Yeah, she just
goes
gets out.
home, and then the
Oh
frog
my
shows-
globe, thanks. See you
Yeah,
later.
the frog shows up at the door, and then he's like, "Knock, knock. Hey, I'm a frog. Your daughter owes me some stuff, king," because the king just answers his own door, and then he's like, "Ah, "Come on, you can't just be a liar. You're a princess." And
Yeah,
she's like,
come on in.
Jeez Louise, fine. Sleeps in her bed and then turns into a man. The end. That's
No,
no, come
He's a
on.
prince. They get married.
There's
in the
more.
end.
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that.
She's like, "Oh, you're a prince." He's like, "I got so much money, apparently, frog money." And she's like, "All right, cool." Married.
So, original 1812 version. It's actually called the Frog King
Oh, boy.
or Iron Henrik. Now, so what happens is same kind of story, except the first night he said like put her into bed, and he'd tell her father like if you don't put me in bed with you, I'll tell your father. She gets so pissed, she throws him against the wall in anger. He
my
hits
God.
the wall, turns into a prince, drops to the ground. Then they're all married. But why it's called Iron Henrik is you remember like his the guy who pulls up in his carriage after he's
Yes.
a prince is Henrik.
It's Henrik. I
Yeah.
thought that was weird that they just
Yeah.
dropped. And Henrik was so relieved at the
I was
prince.
gonna discuss
Yeah, I was
that.
wondering about
gonna
that.
discuss
He's
that.
Iron Henrik because after the prince
Yes.
was gone, Iron Henrik put 3 iron bars around his heart because he was so sad that he thought if he didn't have those iron bars there, his heart would break. So as they're driving home in the carriage, you hear like pop, and the prince is like, "What's that?" And Iron Henrik is like, "Don't worry, it's just one of the iron bars breaking from my heart because it's bursting with joy that you're back." Does it 3 times.
fuck?
Does it 3 times. Each band bursting because he's so happy his king's back.
Dude.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Also, originally with the Grimm,
Wow.
along with Frog King, there was also Frog Prince, which was a completely different story.
What?
Where it was 3.
Oh.
Exactly.
What? It was supposed to be
3
Frog
sisters.
Prince, I
Yeah.
thought, originally.
Oh no, it's Frog King. Or now they also
He just
did a
read his own
variation.
thing. He just did his own thing. Okay.
They also did
All right.
Frog Prince, where it was like 3 sisters. First 2 went down to a spring and it was dirty water, and they scooped a glass, and a frog came out and said, "Hey, I'll clean it if you like make me your boo." And they're like, "No, you're gross, you're a frog." Third sister says, "Yeah, why not? I want to drink of water, and I can promise anything to a frog. It doesn't matter." So she scoops it out. The frog dives down, comes back up, it turns clear water. She drinks it. Later that night, the frog like hops to her door. He's like, "Let me in. You said you would." And she's like, "Dang it! All right, I have to." Oh,
We got that ish.
She literally
What
says,
are the parts that were different?
in 1812, she literally says, "Ugh, that's my boyfriend, the frog." literally.
She's
And
just
then-
like accepting
yeah.
at that point.
So she's like, "I promise, so I will have to open the door for him." She cracks the door, he jumps in and sleeps at the foot of her bed. He does it 3 nights. On the 3rd night, she's like, "This is the last time."
Yeah,
When she
that's-
wakes
that's
up,
the same.
he's the prince.
That's the same, yeah.
Okay.
So that was
Yeah.
like the only difference. Is how she met the frog. He didn't
well,
catch a
seemed
go
a lot
up.
longer,
in the yours is I think Tom the
longer.
ones Tom read were all longer,
Yeah,
which is
dude.
unfortunate.
Yes.
He's been telling
From
me,
the
like,
version
it
I
took a
read,
half hour.
the only like main points I had, which like the way it was written, was just the part where she's like, "Oh nonsense, he's talking. Frogs talk." And she's like weird talking frog. Get me my orb.
Did she call him anything weird? Because like the first time she met him in mine, she was like, "Oh, it's you, old water splasher."
No.
I was like,
No.
that reminds me of like, "Oh, barrel rider."
But I'm
it reminds
so
me very
rider.
Hobbit style. I like that. Also, dropped her golden bog.
Yeah.
Hashtag princess problems.
Yeah,
Who's got
right?
a golden
Like,
bog?
who does that?
I was confused
I
about
want
that.
favorite
What
toy
is that?
is a ball of gold.
It said she liked to juggle it.
Yeah,
That's got to be heavy.
I like
Golden ball.
that in your story too, though. Heinrich was like the only, because in the story I read, Heinrich was the only person with a name.
Yeah.
Like he was the only person
Successor, yeah.
named
True,
with
that's
anything.
true. Nobody was named.
Yeah, it
That's
was
true.
like
The princess
it was like,
went back
the
to-
princess, the frog, the king, and Heinrich. It's just like, okay, he seems badass because he's got a fucking name. And then what does he do in my story? He drives a carriage and doesn't show up again for the whole thing.
No.
He shows up at the
For
end.
all of it.
He's
Just
a real boy.
one name drop.
He's gone.
He's like Tristan.
It is
Yeah.
stupid.
We introduced ourselves.
frog
Yeah,
was a
all right.
Yeah, we did.
I'm Jacob.
Girl's a bitch and the frog was a
Moving
bitch.
on, second story.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we go on the next
Yes.
story, what do you guys think the moral of this was?
Be nice
yeah,
to
be nice
people
to
that are
others.
frogs.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, don't judge a book by
Yeah.
its cover. Be not nice to people, even if you think that
There's
they're
a lot of
ugly.
stories are like,
Who does a frog think he is?
that's the moral. Who
I
are
thought-
frogs?
So when I read it,
Like to teach a lesson?
This was the
Yeah.
first one of the books
Stupid
of the
old
stories you
Yeah,
picked.
yeah.
Jacob, out of all the stories you picked, this was the first one, and at the end, I got to the conclusion. It's like if you be a bitch, things will happen, and it's super great.
Yeah.
You just get
Also-
married to a rich
Yeah.
princess.
The frog.
like she was super not into that frog for
Dude,
3
she
days,
hated
and
that
then he was
frog.
like a handsome dude. She's like,
No, she didn't want to, but she
the frog
but
knocked
she,
her
but
door and she didn't
didn't
want to answer.
want to let him do those things, but
She
she
didn't want to
did
answer.
anyway.
Her dad told her.
super
that's why.
reluctantly,
Yeah.
and
Her
like
dad-
rude.
no, her dad
she
was
didn't
like,
do
"You
it. Her
must."
dad shows up at the door.
Yeah.
and is like, "You promised this frog.
Yeah.
Let this asshole
She's
in."
like, Dad,
Yeah.
don't. It's the
You
frog
know
again.
what? The
You
prince
promised
should-
him.
The prince should have married the king. He was way nicer.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: gay rights between frogs and princes or kings, super great.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
in the
I'm
early
down.
1800s.
I'm
not
totally
early
down.
9th century. But also, did you know this story was one of the first ones like they ever did? It's always been in like the original.
I'm
copies
glad
at
that
the
we
beginning.
started with it then.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, we're moving to Rapunzel.
Moving on. Let's talk about it.
Your list is lining up perfectly with
right,
mine. It's
go.
freaking
Because
me out.
then you sent me the list.
Oh
idiot.
shit!
All right. time.
So Rapunzel, I'm gonna run through it real quick.
All
'cause
right.
we got
All right.
time constraints. Rapunzel, a girl is born.
Yes.
She just looks so pretty.
Hate your drink.
As usual, yeah.
And then she grows really long hair,
Yeah.
and she's
There's a
kept,
prince.
Yeah, there's a prince. She's kept in a tower, and he climbs up her hair.
They fall in love.
and they fall in love, and then she leaves. She disses
Pretty
her
much.
like stepmother / witch lady.
Yeah.
She's like, "Get out of here, you fucking idiot!" You're
I
so dumb."
I don't like you.
Yeah,
She says that?
In mine, she's like, "You're really,"
Yeah.
and then Bales gets married. Great life. The end. That's Rapunzel. I'm sorry.
That's how. Wait. So it just ends with what happens to the witch?
Oh shit.
In my story, nothing.
Yeah, in my story, nothing.
Yeah,
it was
nothing.
not explained.
She
what happened to
curses
the
them
witch.
and leaves.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's like, "Bah!"
So
Wait, she's stuck in a desert, right, or something like that.
Not
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
not in your story. No, in my story.
Yeah,
yeah, what happened to yours?
Yeah. Okay. For literal. Okay. Prince goes up into the tower.
Yeah.
Him and Rapunzel and the prince fall in love. Apparently they do it.
Holy shit, no.
Oh, yeah,
in my
they had
notes,
sex.
In my notes, I forgot. I'm
did
sorry.
have sex.
She cursed them. They bail, and then the prince just
prince
goes
goes-
crazy as shit, wanders fucking
he's-
around.
no,
He's
They
thrown
had
on a
sex
tower
without
and
us knowing.
blinded.
Yeah, I'm blinded. He just wanders around, and then he finds Rapunzel
Years later.
Years later, yeah, years later.
wandering the desert.
Wandering
I'm
the
sorry,
desert
this is
blind.
way crazier.
He goes to the forest though first, right?
Yeah, after he wanders the desert, then finds her, cries, gets his sight back, and then like marries her. Also, she has
Sight
2
back.
kids.
She's been living.
How did she get 2 kids when they broke up?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
They banged in the tower.
knowing.
Apparently,
We
she
had
was
no
living
idea.
in
They banged in the
exile
tower
in
and
the
she had
desert.
twins?
I agree.
She didn't have twins.
I agree
with
with
2
Steve.
kids.
They should have gone into detail with the sex scene.
Yeah, they had no idea. It's just
This
like,
is
oh
not
my God,
50
hey,
Shades.
Prince,
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, we
But they
did
actually
50
had
Shades.
sex.
Check it out if you want.
They actually had sex.
So-
self-promotion.
Yeah, and how she tipped off the queen. She was so
She
dumb.
just
Dumb.
like
Yeah.
said
Super
like,
dumb.
oh, Prince Way's better than you.
Yeah.
Who, what
Oh my
Prince?
God! In mine, and literally in mine, she's just like, "You're fat."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Man, the prince doesn't weigh like fat,
Yeah,
man."
exactly.
And she's just like, "Yo, why you being a bitch, Rapunzel?"
You're happy
Because
and
the prince has been
to bring
visiting
up-
me, and I'm just gonna tell you
Yeah.
about this.
And I'm just like, "Man, fuck this story right now."
Yeah,
Also,
mine is,
halfway through the story, they're just like, oh yeah, the witch's name is Gothel, by the way.
Oh.
Did not get her name.
Mine didn't get her
I didn't
name.
get her name.
Oh, halfway
wait,
through the
it
story.
was halfway, yeah, through.
Halfway through, they're like,
I remember that.
Gothel or
It-
Gothel or
I
whatever.
read the sentence a couple times. I'm like, Gotha. Who are they talking about? I was like, oh,
it's
now
a
she
witch.
has a name. Oh, okay.
in mine, she's actually a sorceress fairy. But what happens with
There's
that?
always a
Yeah.
fucking fairy.
We'll
always.
get into that.
There must have
in
been
mine-
fairies for real back then. There had to have been.
In the
Come
original,
on.
it's really interesting
Fairies are
wording.
a staple.
They have to have been real.
In the original story, when the prince gets up there, she says the cat got her and will scratch your eyes out as well. This prince jumps from the tower. His eyes, he gets blinded by thorns on the way
Yes,
down.
yes.
And he wanders, in the original, he wanders through the woods.
Yeah, no, that's what happens.
Eventually stumbles upon her in and her twins.
Yes.
And then she recognizes, jumps on him,
And
tears cure it.
twins!
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Did you
I had
also
to do it.
Did you know that the German word Rapunzel means like rampion or field salad, corn salad, or lamb's lettuce?
all of those definitions you gave me, those aren't things either,
Wait.
Tom.
Yeah.
You're just saying more gibberish.
Did you know Rapunzel means like gobbledygook?
I know, yeah.
Did you get an origin?
Gobble lettuce.
Did you? Oh wait, how it started? Let me tell you.
Okay. At the very
Yeah.
beginning, there was a husband and wife, and
Yeah.
the wife's like, "I want that fucking cabbage or whatever the fuck," and the husband's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Okay."
No, we're on Rapunzel.
Yo, shut up!
No,
We're
it's
gonna
like-
go to Rapunzel.
No, it was like
go.
sacred. You
So-
couldn't touch it though.
Do you think
You
that's
weren't
where that
supposed to touch it.
expression? Because the
Oh
wife was
shit!
like,
Was that same story?
Yes.
I'm slightly drunk. I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
dude.
I wanted to
It
bring
was like
that
the
up.
secret.
I'm so sorry.
You weren't supposed to touch anything in this garden, dude.
Yeah,
It's like,
so,
boom, don't touch anything in
So
it.
the whole thing. Oh fuck! I'm sorry. I skipped
just
over this.
screwed it all
I'm
over
sorry. I
me.
skipped over this. This is gonna run a bit long. I'm so
right.
sorry.
That's all right.
So the first thing we're introduced is husband and wife, and then the husband and wife just see this garden, and they're just like, the wife just goes, "I want to eat the shit out of those vegetables,
Or I'll die.
Or I'll die."
Exactly.
And the husband goes,
Exactly.
"Shit, dude, I need
Yeah,
pussy
fuck that.
on the wall.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?" And then he just climbs the wall, gets him. And he brings him to her, and she's like, "This is so good.
Yeah,
I need
I want
3
more."
times as
Yeah.
many."
she always wants more.
She's like, I want so much more.
What a bitch!
I know.
okay, yes,
so he's
ma'am.
like, "Ah, shit, dude, I want that pussy unlocked, so I gotta
Husbands
go
are
back."
always like
God.
He
whips in
goes
these
back over
stories.
there, and
Yep.
and then the sorcerer's just like,
What the fuck?
"Dude, stop stealing my shit, dude."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll give you my daughter," and she's like, "All right, deal."
Do you think that's where the expression came from?
Right? Right? That's what happens.
Pretty much.
I thought that she asked for it, which is like, you give me
No,
your
she
daughter,
did.
I'll let you have more.
Okay, okay.
No, she
I won't
did.
kill you.
She
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He was just like,
Yeah.
he was like, "This baby doesn't even exist yet. Who cares?"
And then it's
like,
morning.
why
he's
do you
like,
have
fuck
a daughter?
my wife.
I want
He's
it. You
he's
can
saying,
have my daughter.
literally, he's like, "I can fuck my wife so much to make so many babies. Who cares?"
'Cause
Right?
That's how it was back then.
That is
That's
true.
how it was. They didn't give a shit.
Do you think that's where the expression
We'll get
came
into that in
from?
Hansel and Gretel.
Do you think that's the expression where, like, you know, how people say, like, "Oh, if I don't get that, I'm gonna die." Do you think this is where it came from? Because she
You know
literally
what?
says, "If I don't
You
get it,
know
I'm
what?
gonna die."
That might be where it
Wait.
came from.
That might be.
Where else would it come
Oh
from?
shit!
Is there anything else you guys want to bring out? 'Cause
No,
we gotta,
that's it. We gotta
on.
move.
Half-Life 3 confirmed. Moving
Speaking
on.
of Hansel and Gretel, Jacob,
Hansel
that's our
and
next
Gretel.
story.
It is.
Oh my
So in the
God.
version that I read,
Yeah.
Hansel and Gretel live in a home with their woodcutting father and just his new wife, who's just a real bitch.
Evil stepmother.
she's the biggest
also
bitch
a
I've ever
snake.
heard in my
Which,
life.
let me interject right
Dude,
there. In
what
the
a
original,
bitch.
oh, I hit that hard.
You punched it.
In the
Fuck.
original, it
What
was
a
the
bitch.
mother. It wasn't a
Oh,
stepmother.
Oh.
Continue.
Okay.
What a bitch.
So in our version,
biggest bitch
she was
I've
just
ever
real
heard.
rude. And she's like, "You know what? Sick of kids.
Yeah, I hate
don't like him."
kids.
No.
I hate
There was a
kids.
famine. They were running out of food. It's like either the kids
Yeah.
die or we
Still.
all die.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah.
still,
Which makes
still.
We need to live. Fuck the kids.
Still,
All right, continue.
she goes, can you do the dirty work and lead him in the woods and just kind of bail
just-
on
yeah,
him
just-
and then like come
and he's
back?
like,
Act like we're leaving to go get firewood and
and
just
the
leave him
dad
there,
goes-
and then we'll just knock him home.
Yeah, right. And then the dad goes, no, that seems rude.
Like,
And
no,
she's
I like my kids.
she's like, you want to fuck this?
Stupid people like
you want to
their
fuck
kids.
this badge ever?
Yeah.
And then he's like,
do
yeah.
you want pussy or no?
And then she's like, we can make new kids.
all of Tristan's fairy tales are pushy driven.
They're all sex.
That's one of my points I'm gonna get to.
It's true. No, he's
Keep
right.
going.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's what she's
Keep going.
So the woodcutter leads him out, and he goes, deuces, and then
Yeah.
he leaves.
Go ahead.
At the end. And then Hansel's like, don't worry, sister. I left a bunch of stones.
Moon rocks.
We're going back. They go back home, and they're like, they clearly abandoned us, but let's just sleep in our beds and leave the door unlocked and leave everything open.
But not sleep.
Yes.
Yeah. Just
they're
sit
too
there.
hungry.
Oh, in mine, they're just like, we'll just nap and we'll deal with it in the morning.
Yep.
And then the mom shows up and she's like, you shitbags.
No, she's pissed in the first place because she's got like, those aren't moon rocks. That's the fucking chimney. You guys blind?
Well, she showed. Well, she.
Not important.
So
That's
she.
not a cat.
Yeah.
That's a chimney on the sun.
So she shows up and she's like, and she goes to her husband. She's like, you didn't abandon the kids like I asked, which is a very reasonable request. What are you doing, you fool? And he goes, all right, I'll try again. So they give him bread, and Hansel doesn't eat it, and he's like, ah, fuck you. I'm one up in you.
Yep.
So he leaves bread. But then in the story I read, he's like, I got them, I one-upped them, I left bread, and then birds.
And birds ate 'em,
Just
obviously.
nature is
Yeah.
like, shut up, idiot, this is
Instantly, I
bread.
thought that like bread.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right?
I know how this is turning
I was
out.
like, well, fuck.
Yeah, and then the dad goes, see you later, bye. And he goes home.
Yep.
And then I go, don't worry, I got bread. Oh
no.
shit. You want to wander
Yeah.
in the woods for a while and
Yeah.
just find a candy house?
like
That'll
2
be nice.
days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
That's crazy.
And then Gretel's like, yeah, let's do that. So they do that. And they find a candy house. Lo and behold, they eat the candy house, and a witch comes out, and she goes, I'm a witch. You wanna eat more of my candy? Yeah. I'm gonna kill you. And they're basically just like, okay, put me in a cage. I'll be your servant.
That's what she said? That's what they said?
no.
I'm paraphrasing heavily, but they put her.
Hansel's getting fattened up in a cage.
Yeah,
All right. Gretel's a servant.
Hansel's in a
All right.
cage. Gretel's
Which
like,
wanted to eat Hansel.
yeah, she's like,
You gotta fatten him up.
Gretel, I like you because you're a girl. Also, my voice changed as a witch. Apparently,
Magic.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Magic.
All right, continue.
And then she goes, "We're gonna eat your brother. I hope that's cool. But then like you'll live longer. That's also
But she's like, we need to fatten him up.
grade A, right?"
go get
She's
some
like,
food and
"Yeah,
fatten him
death."
up.
And then she's like, "Okay, push me in the oven." They do that. They get money from that.
They kill the witch, and then the witch just
Has
has
money.
gold. Just a shitload of gold.
They go, wow, we really love candy, eat candy, and they go, wow, I'm bored eating candy. They leave, have a bunch
Let's
of gold,
go home
and
with
their
all
dad shows up in the woods and goes, I missed you. Also, your stepmom's dead. You guys want to hang long?
And they're like,
And they're
toast
like,
death.
toast death, and they go home the end. That's what happens.
All right, in my story,
Yeah.
to get back to their dad, they also have to ride a duck.
That is right. No,
That didn't happen to mine.
Oh, yeah.
Mine did not have that.
Steven,
Across
did you get a buck? Did you get a duck?
No, they had to ride, but they only one at a time, right?
I
Yeah.
got
Yes.
I got no duck in mine.
It's
Literally,
like, hey, can we both go? No, the duck can't carry his bowl.
Literally?
All right, I'll go first, then you go. All
no,
right, the end.
There's literally
That's what
no
happened.
reason to have it in the
No, there
story.
was none.
There's no point.
I thought something was gonna happen. Like they're both gonna
No.
try to get on it. The duck
No.
was gonna die, but it's like you go first, then me. Okay, cool.
I read about that.
I love ducks.
In the original, that wasn't there. And so he added that for like storytelling embellishment later, the whole duck thing. Also,
Oh.
you know what else wasn't in originally? The ending where it says, "My tale is done, a mouse has run, and whoever catches it can make himself from it a large, large fur cap." Did
that
yours
was
have
not in
again?
our story.
That's a stupid thing, but that wasn't in the original. He added that again for like embellishment. But also not added, or they took it away, was there's the part where Gretel finds out that like the witch is gonna push him in the oven, or like the witch is gonna push her in the oven. It says Gretel stood in the kitchen and cried tears of blood.
No, that did
They
not
took
happen
that
in
out.
ours. But she did realize that it was like, there's no
Yeah.
way I'll fit, and then like tripped the
Yeah.
witch.
From the story I read, which I explained, and you guys apparently have way more shit through.
Yeah.
I got the woodcutter is a dink.
Yeah.
He's pussy
Fuck
whipped.
that dad. He's which is not like ladies are great, but the fact that he was just like, oh, I'll murder my kids for you.
He was sad.
She was like,
fine.
we have to kill the
He
kids. And
didn't wanna do it.
he's like, no.
Yeah,
And
he's
she's
like, no,
do it.
and she's like, do it, and he's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Pretty much.
Like that's fucked up. You're
Yeah.
murdering
How
children.
long? Want to.
How
He
long
really
were they?
didn't want to.
How long were they fattening Hansel?
They don't
up
say.
For a while. For a
They
while.
don't say.
All right.
Like I assumed like a couple weeks.
Because it says Gretel only ate crawfish shells.
No, it was a couple days.
That's fucking
I didn't get
gross.
that.
That's all she ate.
Oh Christ.
Also,
I wanted to bring up
Yeah, bring
so
up.
far, Jacob. You picked these stories.
Yes.
And up to this story, the common theme has been just irresponsible decision making.
Yes.
Just like,
Big time.
just, what are we going to do? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Back in the day,
wing it.
you had to do shit straight or you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
So that was the
Big
moral of the
time.
story. Get
Yeah.
your shit straight or you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was back
Or
then.
So,
you
okay.
wait for some fairy.
So
to come
going
to
over
you.
this real quick,
Fairies.
and obviously we read different versions, which is weird, and I'm confused about it.
There's a lot of versions.
What was
I'll
that?
read, like, the
I like
hour-long
bring.
versions.
Most of these stories were written for moral reasons, like they were
Yeah.
supposed to instill
Yes,
something.
yes.
What did you guys get from this? I want to know the moral that you guys got because I got mine, and it's probably not the same.
Mine
That's
was, you need to
I
leave
don't
your
know.
parents quick because they're both douchebags.
Yeah.
I like that.
Self-reliance.
Steven.
Self-reliance.
Self-
If your
Self-reliance.
parents
I
leave
could see that.
you at night and don't come back for you, then
Trust.
get the fuck out of there.
Not
Find
trust-
new parents.
Nothing
Right
is
away.
true.
More in the
Everything
mic
is
when you
permitted.
talk.
Assassin's Creed.
Candy
You're
leads.
welcome.
Candy leads to evil.
I got. Yeah, candy.
This story was written by a dentist.
Did you have? Did you have the quote? Oh wait.
Wait. Let me do mine real quick.
Wait, dude.
Mine was get rich or die trying.
Oh!
Because the kids are just like, man, fuck you, idiots, and then they just got a bunch of coins.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the stepmom just is dead. The witch is just dead. And then they show up with their fucking like dad, and he's
Oh,
just
I
like,
forgot. The stepmon died for no reason, right? She just
yeah,
died.
she just
died.
dies in mine.
They don't say how.
It's
Yeah.
like,
She
and then
just
they finally
dies.
got back.
He just
Stepman
shows
was
up.
dead.
He just
Blah,
shows
blah,
up in the
blah.
middle of the woods. The woodcutter shows up in the middle of the woods like, I'm so sad. Are you guys okay? I'm sorry I left you. She's dead. So there's no more pussy. I like, fuck that.
After the first time she dropped him off, and then the second time
Yeah.
the wife was trying to convince her to abandon his kids again.
Yeah.
Did you get anything? Because in mine it literally says, like her argument was, he who says A must also say B.
No.
I never heard that. Yeah, it's really dumb.
Ours is just both times she's like,
Yeah.
we're still gonna fucking
Yeah.
die.
She's
if
like,
you don't abandon
we're
your
gonna
kids."
die.
We're dying no matter
Abandon
what.
them. I like that she was like willing to abandon them, but not just murder them.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Was
It's
your guys'
that
stories
kind of-
very? Were your guys' stories very religious driven? Like in
A couple. Not
not
this
one.
one.
Not this one. Other ones.
This
Yeah,
one was. I'm
with Jake.
because like Rapunzel, she used the word like phrase like, or they used
Like
the
in the-
brothers
like-
used it
like-
like godless fairy. In this one, it literally says like when the witch was gonna push her in the oven, it says, however, God let Gretel know this. Like almost every story
Well,
has
these
like
these
we
were
didn't
written
have
back
any-
in
I don't
like.
think we had
I have a
like-
couple that I'm gonna bring
Yeah,
up
these
about that.
1812. They were very.
We
God-driven.
gotta move on.
right, move on,
we
move
got
on.
we got a
We
lot
gotta
of stories.
fucking power
yeah,
through.
we got a fucking Little Red Riding Hood. Bam!
my
All right.
All right. I hope you
stupid.
idiots are ready
God.
because Little Red. Oh man,
So
Steven's
dumb.
ready.
Yeah,
Steven's
it's
ready.
just- I'm just pissed.
Yeah.
Rock hard. What?
Little Red Riding Hood. Basically, all right. The story that I read was Little Red Riding Hood was told to give baked cakes to her grandmother.
And
Yeah.
wine.
Walks
And
out.
wine.
Yeah.
The grandma loves wine.
Yeah, walks out into the woods and then meets a wolf man, and
is
then it's
normal.
a wolf,
Wasn't
a
a big
man
deal,
who
yeah.
knows.
It's a
really.
wolf.
Yeah, mine was just a wolf.
Mine was very like ambiguous.
It's a we'll get to that.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, where are you going?" She's like, "My grandma's house. Gonna give her these snacks." And he's like,
He's like,
"Yeah,
cool.
snacks.
Let me
yeah.
just
Go
walk
pick-
with- Let me just walk
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He goes, "Snacks are great.
No.
Bye." And then he goes the same direction.
No,
and she
he
doesn't
convinces
notice.
her like snacks are good, but have you seen the snacks off the road?
You.
yeah,
Those are
road
the
snacks.
best.
Wait,
you
yours
should-
was snacks?
No, yeah, no.
No,
mine
I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like,
Alright.
we're
Strawberries is
paraphrasing.
snack. Come on.
He's like,
So-
you should go pick
yeah.
flowers.
Yeah, mine
yes.
was flowers.
Flowers and strawberries.
You had strawberries? I didn't have strawberries.
whatever.
There were strawberries too.
Strawberries are
Whatever.
delicious. I see
she
why they
gets
added
her-
it.
so she gets to her grandma's, but there's a dead grandma there, and it's a wolf now. And he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna eat you," and she goes, "Okay, lol." And then he eats her, and then some random woodsman who was
huntsman.
and a huntsman who was never
Yeah.
mentioned shows up, cuts his stomach open, and goes, "Hey, I'm glad you guys are all right. I guess. Okay, bye." And then the story's over.
Wait, hold on. It doesn't
Right.
even like you.
I'm
expect the
paraphrasing.
wolf
We
to
have a
be
lot of
dead,
stories
right?
to get through, Steven.
Yeah.
You think the wolf's dead, bro? Right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Okay.
and then the wolf woke up.
In my,
Yeah,
in my,
exactly.
Yeah.
After they took the grandma out,
in
we
my-
took
yeah.
Little Riding Hood up, and then the wolf just woke up. Oh, like
Yeah.
still alive.
In my story, the huntsman grabs scissors and cuts open
Yes.
the wolf's stomach
I didn't
with
get that.
scissors.
Yes, with
And then
scissors.
I didn't
pulls,
get scissors.
Piece of cake.
pulls out Little Red Riding Hood and the grandma whole.
But we're
apparently.
left thinking, hey,
and
this
then it's
wolf's
like,
dead.
oh, cool, they're alive. Instead of just killing the wolf like
Nah.
normally,
Well, it's already cut
we're
open.
gonna fill him with rocks.
Yes,
Whoa!
exactly.
Yes, and then he
throw
wakes
him in
up.
the river.
He had no idea. Nobody wakes up. He's like, oh, why am I so
Wait, they
full?
threw him in the river?
Oh.
He just wakes up and he's
Yes,
just
he
like,
did.
"I feel
He
really
had no
heavy."
idea that somebody cut him up
lol.
with scissors, took Little Red Hood and the grandma. He just woke up.
Oh.
Oh, I'm full.
Oh, in mine, they filled him with rocks and then chucked him in the river so that way he'd drown.
Oh,
in
now
mine-
he just died because he was too heavy.
Yeah, in mine it literally says he woke up, tried to run away. The stones
Yes,
were
he-
so heavy that he immediately fell over
That's
dead.
still my story.
And then the
That makes
huntsman
sense.
and then the huntsman skins the wolf.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like your version
So wait,
more.
in your version that
didn't
he
say
just
skin
wakes
him.
up skinless?
Yeah. No,
He's just-
he doesn't wake up
oh,
skinless.
okay.
For no reason later.
He wakes up heavy with rocks in his belly.
All right.
Mine was thinking about skinny.
In the version I had, man, these are fucked up. We read some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
In the version that I had, I thought it was weird that like Little Red Riding Hood had super ADD in my story.
Yeah.
In my story, she was like, I gotta go deliver these. Are those strawberries? Fucking sweet. And she's like, yeah, I love strawberries. And she's like, shit, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
It's
do
been
grandma's.
hours.
Then she's like, butterflies. Yeah! She's like,
Also,
get stoked.
the wolf does a lot of humanistic shit.
Yeah.
Not mine. In mine, he just approached her and was like, "Hey, you like butterflies? I like your grandma. What's up?"
Well, he goes to grandma. The wolf goes to grandma's house. He like knocks on her door and opens it. And it's like, how the fuck does a wolf do all of this?
Yeah.
Without hands and thumbs.
I just like how in the beginning, like her mom's like, dude, grandma's sick. Take her cake and wine.
Yeah.
That'll
She
make
loves
that's
that
a bad
dog.
immune system.
That was old days. That was old days.
That's just
fucking
how it
like
was back
remedies.
then.
But
That's just how it
also
was.
at the end of my
Yeah.
story, Little Red gets back to her mom.
Yeah.
And she's like. She
motivates
was eaten
her
by a
mom?
wolf. Dude,
Oh.
Little Red has PTSD from fucking
Yeah.
wolf right
Nah,
now.
I don't blame her.
I don't blame her either. But I was like, that's the most poignant thing I've read so far. We've only got a couple
My
stories.
story
but
didn't have her. She was just like, I learned my lesson.
what?
Don't
All right.
stray from the path.
She's just like, wolves are bad.
All right.
Don't stray from the path.
First
Is
off,
that your moral?
Next story.
no, there's still so much. So first off,
Wait, the wolf is still alive.
No, he's
In
dead.
mine, in mine
No,
he's
my
dead.
story is still alive.
Mine he's dead as fuck.
No one cares.
so
He's still alive, dude.
so he meets this
They
girl
tricked
and
him.
then
They tricked
walks
him the
with her a
second
while,
time around.
right?
Yes.
Why doesn't he just eat her right there in the woods?
He wants the
Then
grandma
go-
because she's
He
a
wants
little
to find
girl
out where
and
the house
she's
is.
like an appetizer. He wants to eat the grandma and her enough to fill him up.
Okay, so why doesn't he go to the grandma's,
What's
eat
2
her
meals?
when Little Red Riding walks, Little Red Riding Cat
Roo-roo-roo-roo.
comes in? Why doesn't she just eat her? Why this whole charade?
No, he wants to eat
Because
both.
I don't fucking know. He's dumb. Moving on.
Oh yeah, like real quick. Another time. There's also an unofficial sequel to it.
What the
That the road,
fuck?
the road. Yeah. So it's that another wolf comes along and says,
Yes, mine
yeah,
too.
He's
Another
like,
wolf comes along
yeah,
and they trick the
happened-
wolf.
this
No,
happened-
I didn't have that.
This
I
is
didn't have
like-
that at all.
yeah, he's like, come with me, and
Yes.
she's like, no, I'm going straight to grandmother's. She goes straight to grandmother's.
trick him, though.
Yeah, the wolf says like, come on out, I'm Little Red Riding Hood. She's like, no, I'm in the house. So he waits on the roof.
And they
so
made a pot of something, right? And then
the grandmother had cooked sausages the night before.
Yes,
they
sausage,
filled the
that's what it
trough with the sausage water. The wolf leans over to smell.
falls in it.
Yes,
Yes, that's what I read. Yeah.
Yeah, I also got that, but who cares? Moving
Wait,
on.
no, one more
No,
thing.
Tom,
So,
stop.
The
Tom,
original.
we're already at a half hour.
Let me tell you the original.
Holy shit.
In
Oh my
the
God.
original,
The original was like an hour long.
All right, this is it. The original, she gets eaten. End of story. It follows with the. That's it. She doesn't get saved. It follows with this moral: children, especially attractive, well-bred young ladies, should never talk to strangers. For if they do so, they will provide dinner for a wolf.
Yeah,
And it goes on to talk about wolves or young men.
You'll get eaten.
that sounds like the proper moral. Don't talk to strangers.
That's the. All right, I'm done.
That one was pretty simple.
Jesus
moral.
Christ. All right, I have a problem right now. We're going to run a little long. I'm just letting that be known now. If you like have shit you got to do, go eat a sandwich
Yeah.
before you get back to the podcast. Because it's
Rumpelstiltskin.
I'm
I
sorry.
should've made this a
Rumpelstiltskin!
two-parter.
You should have had a sandwich before you even started watching
Yeah.
this.
All right.
Like, actually.
I don't have much.
I love
Rumpelstiltskin.
sandwiches.
Rumpelstiltskin.
At least 2
Rumpelstiltskin.
sandwiches.
Rumpelstiltskin. Oh God, I'm gonna try and run through this way faster. We're so all right.
gross.
So Rumpelstiltskin is
I
basically
love this story.
in the story I read. Again, the guy shows up to the king and he goes, "Hey king, my daughter can weave the shit out of gold." And he goes, "Well,
Really?
what?" And he's like,
really?
"Totes deaf." And he goes, "Bring her to me." And he goes, "Oh shit, I didn't think my lie would end up in something." No, give
Real
me a
quick.
second.
Hey, all right.
Real quick.
Hey, real quick.
Can I real quick?
Besides his penis.
Real
Tom's
quick.
penis. Go ahead.
Tom's penis, real quick. In the original, she didn't have a wheel. She just turned straw into gold. Continue.
She just like was like,
Yeah, she's like.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
All right, have a
It's like
go,
an
turn
X-Men
straw into
mutant
gold.
power.
That's all.
Piece of cake.
That's all he said. All right. Continue.
So in my story, she gets locked in a room and it's like, spin this straw into gold, you dumb idiot. And she goes, "Ugh." And then a dude
can't
just
do
shows
that.
up and he goes,
Yeah,
"Hey, if you give me your
every guy.
shit,
Yeah.
if you give me some shit, which is a reasonable deal, I'll get you out of this pickle."
Yep.
And she goes, "Death totes. Okay, great. Happens night 2.
makes
Night 3,
lots of
she's like,
gold.
"I'm out of shit. I don't have no rings, no necklaces, no nothing." And she goes, "What do you want?" He's like, "If you fucking birth a babe, like a baby, give me the baby."
Yeah.
And
First
she
baby.
goes,
Okay.
"Yeah, whatever. It's not even real, so who cares?" Does it? She makes the gold. The king goes, "You're so good at making gold
want a
from
lot
fucking
more.
I
Give me
want to
10 times
marry."
the amount of that.
In mine, he was like, "You're so good. Be my wife, cause you're the best." Also,
Yeah.
and she goes, yeah, I want to totally marry the king because money. And then
No,
she does.
She was
yeah.
sad. She was like, "Oh my god, I can't. No, because I can't really."
Oh, in
What
mine
am
she
I
was
gonna
like,
do?"
in mine she was like, "Yep." And then, and then some dwarf shows
They're
up and he goes,
compliant.
"Hey, you had a baby. Let me, give me
The dwarf?
give me the baby.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh.
Give
That
me the
did not. Mine
well,
totally
I don't
different
know his
bullshit.
name yet."
Wow.
And he
Oh,
goes,
I'm sorry.
He goes,
The guy.
He goes, "Give me the baby." And she goes, "No." And he goes, "What's my name?"
Yeah, he's like, "What's my
You got
name?"
3
bitch?"
days.
You get 3 days.
3 days
to tell me my name.
What's my
bitch.
name? And she goes, "Harry." And he's like, "No, day
Like,
2.
Larry?
Bob?
Larry?
No, day 3.
Really?
Some dude shows up at basically.
Some
She's
man was
I'm
like,
like,
"Hey,
crazy.
spy."
No,
She
she
hires a
figured-
spy. She's
a
like,
dude
"Hey, spy,
spies.
you
Yeah.
figure out this guy's name." For
And
me."
Figure
he's
out
like,
his name.
he's like, totes deaf. I walked into a random house.
Yes.
There was a dude dancing, just yelling
Yeah, he's like-
Rumpelstiltskin at the top of his lungs. Probably it. And
Probably
she goes,
him.
"Is your name Rumpelstiltskin?" And the guy just explodes, goes into the ground, and then rips in half. And I'm like,
What?
okay,
Whoa.
that's what happened in mine.
Yep.
And
Really?
mine, and
Rips
mine,
in half?
and mine, he got so mad, stomped his foot in the ground, and then from the force ripped himself in half.
Yep.
Mine didn't do that.
Yep.
Mine
stomped
did
his foot in the
that,
ground,
and
but
I
he-
went, what?
And then they all laughed at him.
Yeah,
and then had
I
to marry.
went,
That was the
ha,
ending?
ha, ha.
We got him.
We have a baby and a ripped in half.
That
We have
was your
2
ending?
pieces.
Really? Mine was just he stomped his foot in the ground.
It still
The
ended
end.
with the girl being married to like a greedy asshole king that didn't really
Yep.
love her for who she was. So
Yeah.
it's still a sad ending.
That's
Oh,
how it
wait.
is back
So,
then.
original 1812.
That's how it was.
She didn't hire an assassin. She sat around the first 2
It wasn't an
days
assassin.
just
There was
thinking.
no assassin, just a spy.
Or the spy. She didn't hire a spy. The first 2 days, she just sat around thinking
She
and
was like,
crying.
if you
That was
find
it.
this small dude
Yeah.
yelling Rumpelstiltskin at the top of his lungs,
Stab.
stab the shit out of him. Murder him.
I was walking upon the hills and I happened to see a guy dancing on a fire, and he was like, "Oh, ha, ha, she'll never know that my name is Rumpelstiltskin." Is that the guy?
That's the guy.
Is that him?
If
That's
the
pretty
guy,
much how it was.
if the guy's yelling his name at the top of his lungs, stab the shit out of
That's
him.
So she sat around the first 2 days. On the third day, her husband, the king, went out for a hunting trip and just stumbled upon him and saw him.
Oh.
That's how it was original.
All right, whatever.
And also the ending, super dumb. This is literally the last line. "The devil told you that," shouted the little man. "He ran away angrily and never came back." The end.
Oh shit.
Rumpelstiltskin was
that's it.
pissed. She found out his name and ran away. That's
Can I
it.
read the
Our
end of
version
mine?
is way
'Cause
more
mine was
hardcore.
fucking intense.
Yeah?
This is the last like 2 sentences. Is your name Harry? No. Perhaps your name is Rumpelstiltskin? The devil has told you that! The devil has told you that! Cried the little man, and in his anger plunged his right foot so deep into the earth that his whole leg went in, and then in a rage he pulled at his left leg so hard with both hands he tore himself in two.
Oh wait, that is the version I
end.
read. That is the version I
That
read.
is
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
I just
didn't
he was
put
just
that.
like,
Oh,
he was
that's
like,
stupid.
no, you're a dumb idiot. Stop. Rip in twain. And then everybody went, ha 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 ha.
Yes.
Look at the foolish man.
He's
Dark.
dead.
I like that.
That's what I had.
That is. I was so stunned that-
Oh,
I forgot that happened because it didn't make any sense. I
wanna
was
see
like,
that
wait,
in
this
the
is the
movie.
it
end.
was ridiculous. Golden Goose.
Benicio
I
del
clicked
Toro.
next
fuck.
like 4 times. Like,
Golden-
come on,
Jacob,
Jacob, gotta keep going.
Jacob,
But
I'm
that's
kind
it.
of drunk right
That was
now. What is Golden Goose?
Golden
my God.
Goose is a story. There
guy's
is
chopping down a fucking trees.
there is a farmer or some shit. in his
Tree
wife-
choppers.
He has a tree chopper. He has 3 kids. He sends the eldest, "Go chop some trees, bro." He's
like,
like, "Okay, got it." He goes to chop a tree, and there's a guy.
Oh,
He's like,
I
"I'm
remember
thirsty.
now.
Can I have a drink?" He's like, "Fuck you."
No,
I
Steve
would
That
have
has
is
a
a
certain
completely
tree.
different one.
It was a different tree. He's
No,
like,
so-
hey, if you can
hold
chop
it.
this tree down right here.
You have a complete different story than me and Jake
That's
have.
great. Okay.
is.
He's
This
like,
tree-
I'm so sorry.
There's-
Crush
Because-
yours first.
I agree. Yeah, crush yours. Because
Yeah, crush
I
yours.
know
Poor
where
man's
we are
like,
now.
Poor man's like, "Can I have a drink?" Oldest kid's like, "No." Goes to chop a tree, hurts himself.
Yeah,
Goes
hits
back,
his
"I hurt
arm.
myself.
Hits his
And
arm.
the dad's like, "Shit, all right, second kid, go." And he goes to chop the tree. Little old man's like, "Can I have a drink?" He's like, "No." Goes to chop a tree, hurts himself. Goes back to dad. Dad's like, "Fuck." And the third kid, who's like shitty and ugly and no one likes, he's like, "I can go do it." And
Did
he's
he
like,
have a name in yours, like, or a term that he was referred to as?
Yes, it was like German for ugly or something.
In the original, it was simpleton.
I'm just making faces at the camera because I'm
Yeah,
lost.
it was
I'm drunk.
something, it was something
Yeah.
like that. And he's
All
like,
right.
"I can go do it." And the dad's like, "You're like all I have left, even though you suck. You can't go." He's like, "Come on, I swear to you, I can do it."
I didn't get that.
And the dad's like, and the kid's like, "I swear to you, I can do it." And the dad's like, "All right, fine, go and get yourself hurt." And
Oh,
then
you suck.
and the
Get out of here, fuck.
the kid goes to chop on a tree. Little old man shows up again. He's like, "I'm super thirsty and super hungry. Can you share your stuff with me?" And he's like, "Okay, because I'm a nice guy, even though I'm ugly
Yeah.
and gross." And no one likes me.
Keep going.
And the little man's like, "All right, cool, thanks. You know what? Because you were the only person that's ever been nice to me, everness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a gift." And he's like, "Cool, thanks." Kid chops down a tree, golden goose inside.
Yep.
He's like, "What? Cool."
Yeah.
Okay, Jake, I'm
Holy
sorry.
shit.
I'm gonna interrupt.
All right,
That is
we gotta
totally
paraphrase because we gotta get way
Yeah,
faster.
go faster.
No, on mine, this is what happened. Kid goes out in the woods, chops down trees. Some old dude shows up and he goes, "Hey, do you got some wine?" He's like, "Yeah, lol." And he's like, "You're the first nice dude.
Yes.
If you go
that's my
here,
story.
all the trees will go away, and
But
you get
if
a
can chop
magic
this
bird."
One, a certain one. He's like, if you can chop this one
Yeah,
down,
this tree,
all of them will fall down.
all the trees, and he
Whoa.
goes, "Cool, thanks."
And in the roots, there's
knocks
a
it down.
treasure.
All
You
the
and I have
trees
the
are
same
gone.
story.
Then there's a
treasure in this roots. of
Then
this
there's a
tree.
then he
Golden
goes
Goose?
he goes into the roots and he's like, "Oh, it's a magic goose." Then he goes to town and he goes, "Hey, look at my sweet goose." And everybody's like, "I fucking want that
I want
goose."
that. And
They
they
touch
touch
the
it,
shit. They touch
They're
the
like,
shit out of the
"Oh, I
goose.
can't get my hand
Everybody,
off."
yeah, everybody touches the goose.
I'd
got
be
a
done by now.
He's got a big train of people. Yeah, it took him 3 minutes to
keep
get
going,
to this
keep
point.
going.
Fuck you.
Keep going.
You're
both
he's
so
got a
slow.
train. He's got a
go
train of people. He shows up to the king. Goes, "Look at all my people." And the king goes, "Wow, that's super weird."
like, "Look at all
And the
these
wizard
idiots."
shows up out of nowhere and goes, "Brah!" And then everybody's okay. And then they all dance in the
Dude,
end.
mine was different than that. Mine was
That's
close.
not where mine ended.
That's
Whoa,
where mine
that's
ended.
close
What's
to
yours,
mine.
Steve?
Mine was the same thing as yours. How it started. People were getting stuck. You're like, "Oh my god, that's hilarious! Look at people stuck to that. Let me touch them." Oh wait, I'm stuck now too. And then
Right.
the king's like, "Oh my god."
Then they get to the king and there's a lot of stuck people.
So sick. He was like, "My daughter is so sick. If anybody can make her laugh, I'd feel so."
That's
good.
how mine was.
Yes, I'd feel
Yeah.
so much better.
I
And then
skipped
the
that 'cause
daughter
it's
went
not
to
super
town one day,
important.
like super sick. Like
We have like 19
so
seconds.
it's
look
good.
at all those people stuck to that person.
Steven, we gotta hurry.
All right.
Okay. King's like, anyone can make my daughter laugh. You get to be prince.
Yeah, you can
And
marry
then-
her.
And he's like, dude, I made your daughter laugh. He's
Yeah.
like, fuck you, do it like four more times. I did it 4 more times. King's
I
like,
didn't get
"Fuck."
that.
King's like, fuck,
That's
you did
what I
it.
got.
All right, cool. You get to be
I got one
prince,
time.
even though I'm pissed
Yeah, it
about
was one time.
And,
for me.
And then Simpleton's like, fuck yeah,
Right.
the end.
So
Yeah.
for me, the reason for my drink originally, each of the first 2 brothers came up with fine wine and like sweet cakes. The third brother, they were like, "Fuck this kid, we don't like him." So he showed up with flour and water cake and sour beer, which I think is the best kind of beer. I don't
It
think it's
is
a
the
punish.
best kind of beer.
Which then when
True
he drinks
fact.
when he drinks with the old guy, it turns into sweet cake and fine wine.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Go.
Cool. Did I have any notes on this?
What do we got next?
Let me look at my newts. Let me look at my goose notes real quick.
Goots. I liked how he got the golden
Oh,
goose.
I
I thought
like-
that was the reward, and then that was just like the start of
I
it.
like to see that scene of all of them
in
touching
my
it.
version, the wizard just goes, "Thanks for giving me wine. You want to know how to completely destroy my entire domain because I'm the wood wizard?
Yeah.
You hit this one tree, and then I'm fucked. Thanks for the wine." Like,
Right. Did the king demand some stuff for the marriage first? Did he demand like a guy who could drink all day, a guy who
Yes.
could eat all
Yes.
day,
He's just
a
like-
guy who could get a land and sea
Yes,
ship?
the king
Yeah.
was just like, no, I don't like you because you're ugly
Yeah.
and shitty and no one likes you. I don't
Prove
like
these
you.
3
Fuck you.
tasks.
You have to do a bunch of shit
Yeah.
because even though you did the one thing that no one could do, you
Yeah.
have to do more shit.
3
and
tasks.
then
in mine,
and
which
then the
the-
kid's
which
like,
the old man
I
helps.
did all of them, lol.
Yeah.
And the king's like, fuck.
in mine, that didn't happen. But the 2 things I wanted to bring
This
up
is so
again,
fast.
it's
That
they're
didn't happen
super
in mine
weird.
at all.
We have to fucking crush these.
Yes.
These are super
All right.
weird.
Yeah,
we
mine
all
was
read
totally
different ones. This is fucked up.
Yeah, this
Way to go, Jacob.
I'm sorry, I fucked it.
In mine, I like the fact that the guy was like, "I don't want to be robbed," but then he walks down town and he goes, "My goose is super
Yes.
magical.
Oh, wait,
every
tons
feather
of
is
cash.
gold."
He
Yeah.
went to an inn. He
Yeah.
went to an inn.
Well,
and
it was-
his lady
it
was
had
like, "Oh,
gold."
that's a cool gold goose. Wait till he falls asleep and we'll steal it."
Yeah, and then
he
like
got
we're gonna
stuck.
steal it, and he's just like, "It's worth so much money. Don't rob me.
Yes, that's
don't
what he
do
said.
that."
I mean,
He's
it's
like,
a
"It's worth a
gold.
lot, but I don't want to be
It's,
robbed, so I want to stay at this inn."
it's a goose made of gold. You can't really hide that. Next story.
Next story.
Snow
Oh,
White.
no, one more.
Oh, crank it.
Well, I want to bring this up in the next couple.
Yeah, okay.
Crank it.
The princess suffered from depression in mine. She was just sad and didn't want to deal with
she was
anything.
sick.
Nothing made her laugh.
In mine, she was just sad.
Oh,
and
oh,
nothing made her
and
laugh.
nothing made her laugh
Nothing
in
made her
ours.
laugh.
Yeah,
It
nothing-
was like it was
I
just
need
like
to laugh.
Which I took as depression, which is gonna come in like 3 of these stories, which
Okay.
I thought was weird.
Snow White.
Oh, don't you
where
mean?
we're at.
Don't you mean Little Snow White?
Little Snow White,
Whatever.
which I wanted to bring up.
It's literally-
Jacob, do it real quick. You got minutes. We're
All
so
right.
long into this.
Queen's like, I want a daughter that has these exact features. She has that daughter with those exact features.
Oh, Steve's dying.
Queen dies. Little Snow White's like, I'm super adorable. New queen with king. That's not really important.
So
Holy
it was
shit.
her mother, right? It was her mother originally.
Yes, and she
All right.
We're at
died.
42 minutes.
New stepmother's like, I have a magic mirror. Who's the fairest? And the mirror's like, Snow White. She's like, I have to kill her.
Yeah.
Huntsman goes.
Then
he's
she
like,
fucks up like 6 times.
She fucks up like 6 times trying to kill her while Snow White's living with little dwarves. Steve, shut your mouth. We have to power through. We have to power
Keep going.
through.
Keep going.
Snow White goes to dwarves and they're like, hang out with us, cool. And then stepmother shows up, tries to kill her a bunch, fails. Apple finally does the trick. She dies, not really. Prince shows up. She's like, he's like, she's super cool. I want to take her. He puts her on a
She's
carriage.
dying.
He puts her
love
on
it.
Sure, every single person's like, she's cool. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Hey, all these dwarves.
Everything's
that's
so cool.
Everything's so cool in the ancient
Keep going.
ages. Prince puts Snow White on a carriage.
glad there's still
Carrying
beer
her
in
off.
this.
There's a bump. Apple falls out of her
Yeah,
mouth,
that little
and she wakes up. Yay! They get married. The end.
Okay.
All right,
That's
so
pretty much what it was.
original, real quick. It wasn't her stepmother; it was her mother all along who was jealous.
Not in mine.
And very
Yeah,
interestingly,
I was
it wasn't a bump in the original. Dude, this is
wasn't a
weird.
bump.
An apple
Tongue
is
kiss.
dislodged from the servant who, like, the servant has to carry her coffin everywhere
Yeah.
the king goes. The servant, it's eventually he gets so angry he hits her,
Oh shit!
and that dislodged the apple, and
I
then
like-
she wakes up.
I like my version way more.
Isn't that
Yeah, 'cause
dark?
that
It's
doesn't
just
make
like
any
it's just
sense.
like the road was bumpy and
Yeah.
it was lucky.
Yeah. Also, originally the huntsman who sent him out to go
Yeah.
kill Snow White, like it
He
said,
was
like,
totally gonna kill
Yeah,
her.
because the queen wanted her lungs and liver, which she ate.
In our story, it was, or in my story, she wanted her heart. And
Oh.
was gonna
In
eat her
ours,
heart.
it was the
in my
lungs and
story,
liver.
She totally ate a heart.
She did. She
The
did.
husband was like, "I can't
Swear.
kill her. Run off. I'm gonna kill a boar.
A boar,
Here's
yeah.
a boar's
And
heart."
ate it.
For
Yeah.
ours, it was the lungs and liver that she ate.
Like a gosh dang shaman.
And the three things, like, first she tried to suffocate her in a corset, and then, like, they released it and she could breathe.
Yeah.
Then they did a poisoned comb, which they removed from her hair and she could breathe.
yes.
Then it was poisoned apple. Boom.
Okay, I gotta say, I like the apple piece falling out of her mouth
Yeah.
more than a prince kissing a corpse.
Yeah,
that's way
he
better.
Never, he never kissed her. He just found her coffin. He's like, I want this coffin. Give it to me. The dwarf's like, no. And they're like, give this coffin.
didn't
I'm
get
gonna
that.
follow it wherever. Like, it was a glass coffin. The prince is like, I just gotta have it. I just like this dead body.
He's
I'm
like,
not gonna kiss her.
He's like, I got 100 pence on me right now. What are you gonna sell it for?
Yeah, it was creepy.
In mine, there was an enchantress, and there was an enchantress, and she's just like, yo, I want something that's super pretty, and then it showed up, and I was like, there's a baby. The end.
But that's
That's
it.
how I took it. I was like, I don't want to read the story
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh.
But I thought it was weird. I
way
did
too
read
much
the story
tequila.
more. I didn't want to, but I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was weird that in my version,
Yeah.
there was like a point where. So we're on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs,
How am I
and
gonna
she
tell
goes in, she just eats some shit and like
Yeah.
sleeps in bed.
Yeah.
She walks away, and in my
worry about
version,
it.
there was a point where it went, Dwarf 1 said, what's going on? Dwarf 2 said, what's going on? And I was like, fuck this! This story is 5 pages long, but it still needs to go faster.
It's so
'cause
padded.
I'm so
That
mad.
is
still
exactly
padded.
how it was.
That was a whole page of just like each dwarf going, bleh. And I was like, no! Cinderella!
No. In yours, did you have it where, like, she woke up and the prince is like, I love you, come to my kingdom, and then all of a sudden she's just in love with him?
That's
That
every
instantly?
fucking story.
That's every-
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
in
it's like,
mine,
oh, wait,
in mine, she
what?
wakes up and she goes, "You're my true love, because you're the only dude
you're
around
the only guy
here."
here.
Like whatever.
What was
So
I supposed to do? Go back to my fucking stepmom who's trying to kill me every
Yeah.
other day?
At the very end, did anything like
Bitch.
terrible happen? All right,
They got married, and
Yeah.
That's terrible.
and stepmom was like, "Who's the fairest?" And Mira's like, "The new bride to Prince What's His Nuts." And she goes and it's like, "That's fucking Snow White." Gosh,
Yeah,
darn it! She flips the table.
in my version, there were 3 different times where the evil stepmother showed up at
Yeah,
her house
yeah.
disguised and was like, "Hey, do this thing." And Snow White's like, "Well, I'm not supposed to talk to strangers." And
Come on.
she's like, "Bruh, come on." And she's
Okay.
like, "Okay, I'm poisoned. Fuck." Right? Yeah.
She's really dumb.
And then,
She's so dumb.
Yeah, and then the dwarves come on and they go, "Oh shit, she got fooled."
God dang.
All right, well she'll learn her lesson. And then
right.
day 2, it's like, "I got a poison comb. Come on." And she's like, "I really like coke."
That's how exactly, yeah.
Right?
For those listening to the audio podcast, Tristan just had a seizure.
Yeah. Cinderella. Well, then the dwarves come on and the dwarves go, "Oh, come on, we told you stop doing that." And then they wake her up with magic and they're like, "Come on, knock it off." And she's like, "All right, I got this." And then she comes home one more time and then she's like, "Come on." And she's like,
More
every
seizures.
time.
right.
The dwarves come home and they go, "All right, well, this is not,
This was a mistake.
this is pointless." She gets married. They have a wedding, and then in mine, the stepmother had to dance to her death in shoes filled with coal.
Exactly.
No, did not get
In
that.
my-
It happened in mine.
Yeah,
In
I
mine,
think
the
I was
last
someone who
paragraph was, then they put a pair of iron shoes into burning coals. They were
Yup.
brought forth with tongs and placed before her. She
didn't
was
happen at
forced
all.
to step into red hot shoes and dance until she fell down dead.
I had
Oh
almost,
my God.
I had
That
almost
is
the
totally
same
different than-
thing.
I thought the same
I had
thing.
almost the same thing. So I read that and I was like, "Holy fucking shit!"
Wow.
And then I listened
Those
to
dwarves don't take shit.
Yeah,
No.
and then well, it wasn't a dwarf.
was the
It was
kingdom.
just it was a prince. It was
Oh,
the prince and
that
king.
prince
he was
don't
just
take
like,
shit.
He was like, I heard she was a dick, so poison her shoes with coals.
Fucking murder her.
Yeah, and then the queen's just like, "Yeah, dude, these shoes are super hot. I'll dance, I guess." I'm dead. Like what?
And last
Cinderella.
Last note. Again, very religious. They use the term godless queen twice, and they say entrusted herself to God.
That's just
continue.
That's the days. That's
All right,
next. That's
Cinderella.
times they were written.
Cinderella.
We're so deep already.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fucked.
We're 48.
It's a long episode. It's okay. It's gonna happen.
We're
I'm
going
sorry.
long. I'm
Maybe
sorry.
it's a
apologizing
two-parter. We
now.
don't know.
Cinderella.
Maybe it's a two-parter.
It's a two-pit.
All right.
Cinderella.
All right.
Cinderella.
It's the story of Cinderella. Moving on.
Go. All right, go.
Are we moving on?
Yes, go. Cinderella.
Ah!
All right.
It's
Who wants to
fucking-
summarize?
It's fucking Cinderella.
Go.
No
one's
evil
talking.
stepmother.
I don't have my notes up. I'm drunk.
I got it. Evil stepmother. Evil stepsisters. There's a ball. They're
right.
like, you can't go, Cinderella. And she's like, fuck. Fairy godmother shows up. She's like, bitch, here's a dress. Bitch, here's horses.
okay.
You have to be home by
Okay,
midnight,
guys,
motherfucker.
I wanna bring this up.
She goes to the dance.
Yes.
She meets the prince. The prince is like, I like you. She's like, I like you too, but I have to leave. She leaves the slipper. Goes home. Prince is like, fucking put the slipper on a bunch of people. Whoever it fits, that's the girl I like. And then they find Cinderella, and the stepsister and
Okay.
stepmother's like,
At
there's
the
no way
beginning,
that's right.
though, it was
And
different.
Cinderella's
It was
like,
weird.
suck my balls.
I wanted to
She
bring
marries
this up.
the prince.
This-
the end.
Out of all the stories that we read that you picked,
Yeah.
this is the most like what I knew happened.
Just nailed it.
This is the most like the Disney movie that
This
I grew
was
up
the
with.
Disney movie. Cinderella fucking nailed it.
But at the beginning, it was really weird because they're like, Cinderella was the most beautiful. Her sisters
you-
were ugly, but we didn't care.
Yeah. Well, it was just like
That's weird for
her
back then.
sisters had money. Suck a dick. You suck.
Like, even though she was the most beautiful, we made her.
The
do all
only
chores.
things, the only
Yeah.
things in my version, which was pretty much exactly what Jacob explained,
Yes.
Yeah.
was they said, and she was beautiful for a whole month of Sundays, and I was like, what the?
I
fuck?
love that expression. A month of Sundays.
That's just
Does that
love
mean
that.
every
month,
day
right?
is a Sunday, or
Just
just
a
like
month.
That's
4
just a
weeks?
month.
Oh, just a month, yeah. It's
That
just
means a
simply
month where every day is a week.
Okay,
So it's 30 weeks.
What the fuck?
I agree with Tom.
Think about that.
A month
I love
of-
that expression. All right. So, do you know
that's loud.
why
That's
she's Cinderella? Because in mine has
She
the phrase,
sat by the cinders.
there was no
yeah.
bed for her, so she slept by the hearth in the ashes. So she's called Cinderella.
and she was always like had soot on her face.
Isn't that nice?
I didn't get that.
I mean, I got that in my
That's
story,
why they
but
called her.
I never
That's
made
what
that
they said,
connection.
So
Yeah,
in
no,
mine, it was
Cinderella's
the
better name.
stepmother. So what she did was like one time the father goes to the fair and they're each like, "What do you want? Two
There was a
daughters?" And-
father?
yeah. So the father's like,
No,
three
there's no
daughters.
father. There's
He's
no
like, the
father.
father's like, 3 daughters. What do you want? And they're each like, I want dresses. I want gold. And then the third daughter's like, give me the first branch that brushes past your hat. So on his way home, he's like riding home and he got her dresses for the other 2 daughters. A branch brushes his hat and knocks it off. He breaks off that twig. She plants it at her mother's grave and it grows into a tree.
Wow. That's,
All right, that's just more. It goes from further from there. But
That-
continue your conversation.
Tom read these crazy, ridiculous long ones.
All right, Tom, that's cool. That literally added nothing. Moving on to Sleeping Beauty.
All right,
no,
So,
we have to take a
there's
break
so
because
much
I have
more.
to pee and we're like 8 deep.
We are not even done with this story.
We're
All right, so
Tom didn't do anything this week, but
whenever
read the
she-
originals. They're all like
whenever she-
50,000 pages each.
whenever she
Fuck.
wanted to do things that, like when she wanted to go to the ball,
Yes.
the stepmother was like, "All right, you got to pick these lentils out of this ashes." So she'd throw lentils and ashes. So Cinderella would call birds to help her pick it out. They would do it. Boom. So then, eventually,
She read too much.
was it a fairy godmother that gave you the dress?
was just a fairy.
Because
It
in
was
mine,
just a fairy.
it was just a bird that was on that tree, pinched
Oh.
from everything. It was a bird that gave her the dress, and then like she did it 3 nights, and on the 3rd night, she threw down gold slippers. They weren't diamond slippers or glass slippers or anything like that. So what the prince did was by the 3rd night, he's like, "I'm tired of this bitch like running out on me." So he puts pitch down all over the ground. So when she runs through it with her slippers, it sticks in the pitch
Oh.
and pulls off her foot. So then later, he goes to her house. He's going around the kingdom like, let me try on all these shoes on this, or let me try this shoe on all these girls. So the first 2 sisters,
Yeah.
they each, in order to fit in the shoe, the first one cuts off her big toe.
What the fuck?
Because her foot's too big. The second one cuts part of her heel off so it can fit. And then each time they're riding past the grave, there's birds on the same tree that say, "No, there's blood in the shoe. Look." And the prince looks and there's blood in the shoe. They're like, "That's not the sister." So the 3rd time she rides past, that these they're like birds are like, "That's
That's a long
perfect fit."
fucking story.
Hot filter go.
The birds land on her shoulder. 3rd time at the wedding, as the sisters are on either side of her, the birds peck out both the sisters' eyes and blind
fuck,
them
that's metal.
because they're malicious.
That's a long story.
Boom.
All that
I
was
think
like
that's the
a
ending.
long story of unnecessary bullshit.
Hey, we're gonna take a break real
Commercial
quick.
break.
Here's some good music.
Do you believe in love?